Now we've got a big hand coming up here with pocket kings. And I'll tell you guys what, it doesn't matter. When you got kings, you're going all in, especially pre-flop. Even if you're in a situation where you're up against aces, and I'm not going to say what happened. You guys are going to have to kind of sit back and wait for it. But we got some interesting stuff to go over today. Also, I just want to give you another background on myself. I've been playing online poker for a very long time, right? I religiously, consistently play 3 to 4 times a week. I keep my sessions between 1 to 3 hours, and things have been good. There's a lot that goes into this though. So like, if you maybe are trying to take the game a little bit more seriously, there are definitely things that you need to get better at, and it's not so much the technical stuff. It's really like the emotional side of playing this game, which not a lot of people touch on, but it's a big deal, right? I would say we can all learn the technical stuff, and get good at it, but the emotional side is definitely something that it takes a lot to get good at, right? With that said, though, we do have an awesome community in the pinned comment. Hope to see you guys in it. It's growing. You can talk with me, other high level members, and we can get you improving, get you better, and that's what it's all about, right? And plus, I think that if you're playing online really anywhere, it can be kind of isolating, so it's nice to talk to people. All right, also, if you guys could tap the like on this, and let's get right into it. If you have any questions, comments, things like that, feel free to message me below. But like I said, you are going to want to stick around because we do have a big one with Kings that you just want to stick around for. Other than that, another thing that you should be, starting to realize, like, as you move up in stakes, players do get better, and it becomes a lot less about using like one strategy, like GTO or playing like an ABC style. A lot of this comes down to just like outplaying people. And you kind of have to look at it that way. You can't play this game like just robotic. It does not work, okay? You might get away with that playing like really, really low games, but like I'm saying, like if you are moving up in stakes, playing against better opponents, you got to start opening things up, which means you got to be bluffing more, you got to be staying unpredictable, and you got to know how to go for value and when to kind of just let something go, right? So like I said, there's a lot that goes into this, and you can't really expect to rush the process. It takes time, it takes dedication, and I'm just being real with you guys, you know what I'm saying? For me, a lot of this stuff is just automatic because I've just been playing so long. A lot of the decisions that I make, I don't even have to think about. But if you really think about this, this game is all about making good decisions, right? Sometimes you're going to lose when you make the best decision. That's variance. But like, the better decisions you make on a, weekly basis when you're playing, and, it's going to start to compound over time, right? But like I said, the emotional side of this game can be challenging. It really can be, and I get it because I've dealt with it. It's hard to play through. You lose a big one with pocket aces or something, and it gets cracked to like pocket jacks, and it's like a pre-flop situation. It's painful, man. It's painful, especially if it's for a lot. You know what I mean? But anyways, yep, here we go. 10-7, 10-7 suited. Now, I called this, I could have actually maybe just raised this if I wanted to, but I didn't. And, probably a good thing I didn't, you know what I'm saying? Because, nothing we could do here. I think also, like, this was a very bad bluff. It didn't make any sense, and I figured that guy, rightfully so, could have called me with, like, ace high. He did have a pair there, but that was just not a good bluff. I'm just being real. It was a real bad bluff. Whatever, it happens. Another thing too, man, like no one plays perfect. We all make mistakes. It's just like, it is what it is, right? It is what it is. That was just not a good play. All right, next time we had pocket sevens. Of course, we didn't hit the 7. There's a 6 out there. Come on, man. Come on. What's going on here? All right, so really no reason to continue here. We're just going to have to let this one go. And it is what it is, man. Making a discipline late on right here. You got the club draw out there. You got some king 10s, stuff like that. It definitely feels like this guy's on a draw. This guy raised, though. Let's see what he does. All right, player one made the call. I think 10 was actually a pretty safe card. I don't think that really changed anything for one of these guys. I think player one was on a draw. He's probably going to let this go. Unless his draw is really good. Yeah, he let it go. Let's see what the river card would have been. A 3. Probably a good laydown by player one right there. It definitely felt like he was on some type of draw for sure. All right, check this out. We have a 8-9 offsuit. I'll tell you what. This was not your standard play. All right. But yeah, I'm gonna open up here the 1250 piece. All right, player 6 is gonna raise it up. Usually this would just be a fold. However, we're pretty deep in this. I actually like making a call here if everybody folds, and going heads up. We could be up against ace king, ace queen. Then you got some of those mid pocket pairs, right? The board was pretty bad, and it's likely it was also bad for player 6. You expect him to continue here, which is totally reasonable. I'm gonna call. Turn cards at 10 didn't really change anything. However, I'm still putting player 6 on a couple over cards. I don't know if the 10 helped him. I'm going to say it didn't. River card's a queen, and this was basically we can only do one thing here. We have to hope he has a hand like ace king or ace jack. Ace queen would not be good. The only way we're taking this down is if we put something into it. So that's what I'm going to do here. I'm going to go for a pot size. And I'm going to keep my fingers crossed here that this works because I wasn't sure if it was going to. The queen was not a good river card. Now he's going to think about it for a second, and it worked. So, yeah, I wasn't sure if that was going to, but sometimes you're in those spots where, like, if you don't bluff, then you're obviously just going to lose. So, we had to do what we had to do right there, right? And, it worked out. All right, next time we had a 5-4 suited. Kind of starting things off pretty decent here. We're up a little bit pretty early on, though, so, anything could still happen. And we still have that big hand coming up, so hope you guys are still with me watching this because I'll tell you what, man, you're going to want to see it. All right, player 3, I'm going to fold. All right, nothing going on there with the 5-4, unfortunately. Would have been nice, but no one wanted to play. 2-6, we're going to fold. And I think the next hand coming up here is kind of what we've been sitting back waiting for, you know what I'm saying? Definitely not playing that 2-6. All right, so here we go. All right, so pocket kings. Now, I've already hinted at this when we started things off here. And, kings, it is what it is, man. You're never getting away, especially pre-flop. We'll see if this one works out or not. All right, so player 6 is going to open to the 10 piece. I think it's going to come around to player 2, and he's going to open it a little bit more. It's nice to have this hand in the big blind. It's pretty disguised, I think, plus we have so much opportunity for somebody to raise this up still, which is really nice. So that's what we're going to be hopeful. All right, back to player 2. All right, player 2, what you going to do? Now, I slowed this one down so I could just give you guys my thought process on it, but there's really not much thought going into this. We have pocket kings, right? It's like, come on, man. Come on, man. But yeah, I do want to say player 2 open this up a little bit more. Oh yeah, he boosted it up here to the 35 piece. And, for me, do we want to continue slow playing this? Do we want to kick it up a little bit more? You know what? It depends. It depends, right? Do we want to be sneaky about this? Now, we don't know what player 6 opened with the min. We could say he's probably got a pretty decent hand. The re-raise here, could be a lot of things. It could be like ace queen, maybe like an ace jack suited, maybe like pocket tens or something. I don't know. Now, I just called. I slow played this. And to my... when it comes back to player 6 here, I'm expecting just a call, because he did like a min type of thing. I'm not expecting him to raise again, which definitely set some alarm bells off in my head. I was like, all right, so what do you have? And let's just run through it. Aces are still very possible because, you know, we don't have ace king, so we're not blocking that. Pocket queens is possible. Ace king is still possible even though we have a king. But, you know, it's kings. We're not going to get away from it. So, like, if we're going to get stacked off here and this guy's got aces, it kind of just is what it is. Like I said, not much thought going into this. We're just going to make a call, and really, really good spot for us here. He's going to turn over tens, and, you know, very happy to see that. No 10 here. We want to see another low card. A heart would be fine because we have the heart, so we're blocking that. Turn card's an ace. He's drawn real slim here. 2 outs, and will we hold? Will we hold? And, you know, we held, and that's just how that one went, guys. So kind of making that call there, kind of like slow playing it, I guess, you know, definitely worked out for us, you know, and we took down a nice one. For the most part here, we do have a few more hands left, but, you know, like I said, man, get in the community, the pin comment. You know, I've been playing this game for so long, and I think that there's probably, I mean, I could give you some good insight, right? You can talk to me, other high-level members, and, you know, we want to get you better, all right? If you haven't subscribed yet, please do that. Thanks for watching this, and we'll see you in the next one.